Welcome to this week's edition of Falcon Focus. I'm your host, Vaughn Purdy, with Simmons College of Kentucky. I'm honored to have a very special guest with me today, a woman I feel like is my really, really good friend after being at Simmons College of Kentucky for the last 4 years. So welcome to Claudette Linder, who's the director of Simmons is Me at Simmons College of Kentucky. Welcome, Claudette.
Thanks, Vaughn, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for being here. So, Claudette, tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all. How did you come to Simmons College of Kentucky?
Well, I've been at Simmons, I guess, probably about 9 years now. And let me try to give you the short version, because it was really, I believe, in my heart, an act of God. I was unemployed, which is very unusual for me, working all my life. And a friend of mine who was on loan working at Simmons said to me one day, "Could you come and work for me at Simmons?" And I said, "I'd be glad to."
Okay.
And it was so funny because then I came to St. Stephen a little bit after that, just to a worship service. And Dr. Cosby said to me, "Would you like to come and work at Simmons?" I said, "Well, Lord, thank you for that confirmation." And I was glad to do it. I really feel like it's God's work.
Okay.
So I do truly enjoy it, and I'm honored to be a part of the Simmons staff.
Okay, we're so honored to have you. Claudette is a mainstay at Simmons College of Kentucky. I can say that personally. I've been there 4 years, and I remember when I first met you, how welcoming and warm you are, and she is that way with everybody who comes in there. And Claudette is a native of Louisville, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
And you've been here for a while, so the great thing about Miss Claudette is a lot of people know who she is, so it's very easy for her to get outreach and support for the college, and she has been actually a blessing not only to the staff and students of Simmons College of Kentucky, but to the community and the work that she does.
Well, thank you so very much.
Because it is so obvious that you love what you do.
I do.
Yeah.
But I love the people. So, when that love comes from the people, then you really, it's an act of love. In fact, one of my favorite sayings, I don't know if I even ever shared this with you, it says, "When love and skill work together, expect a miracle."
Oh,
it's
I love
one
that.
of my favorite sayings.
I'm going to borrow that from time to time.
It's wonderful.
That's wonderful.
So truly, it's that which I do at Simmons is done from my heart, because first I love God, and then I love the people of God, and it just, it's just a wonderful place to be, and a wonderful place to work.
And she is just such a blessing, as I said. Now tell us what you do specifically at Simmons, also in addition to your Simmons is Me place.
Okay, in addition to the Simmons is Me, when someone asked me, in fact, someone asked me just last week, "What do you do?" And I said everything.
And it is so true. It is so true.
And part of that is that you really have to fill in the spaces. Wherever there's a need, you make yourself available. My official title is the Executive Assistant to the Vice President. So that would be Dr. Frank Smith as well as Dr. Kenneth Jobes. But I really do. I think it's my, here again, because I just feel like it's a place that I love working. I try to make sure when something comes to me, I take care of it. Or at least I connect people with whom they need to be connected to.
And that is so true. I get very many calls from Miss Claudette saying XYZ. Because another good thing about Miss Claudette, I wouldn't even narrow it down to one good thing. There's so many good things I could say about you. One good thing about Miss Claudette is she's very efficient, and she's very dedicated to making sure people get answers to their questions.
Absolutely.
And she's always willing to help. We just recently finished a big fundraiser.
We did.
And thankfully, if I had not had this woman right here, the fundraiser would not have been as successful.
Thank you,
She's a very detailed oriented, a very dedicated, behind the scenes, efficient, just very capable person who does the work, and you don't have to worry about whether the work gets done. I can ask Miss Claudette to do the simplest of things, but she does it in the most detailed way that I know I can just relax and rely on her. So I just applaud you for that, and I really, really do appreciate it. And I'm glad I have this platform to say thank you.
Well,
I really do appreciate it. So we're going to get into a little bit more about you before we talk about Simmons is Me.
Okay.
I would love to know, I know you also went to an HBCU,
I did.
like I went to an HBCU.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your experience and your HBCU.
Absolutely. I attended and graduated from Kentucky State, which is 50 miles down the road, as we know. And it is the public HBCU here in the city, and obviously people know that Simmons is the private HBCU. Unfortunately, we only have two,
Right.
but the two we have, I went to school at one, and I work for
Yeah,
now I work for the other. So
right.
it's phenomenal. Here again, by chance, I got there. I actually, upon graduation from the historic Central High School, everybody, hoorah, Von's not from Louisville,
I'm not here, but
so she doesn't really fully get that. But graduating from Central, I went to a PWI.
And a PWI for people who know?
Yes, for what's the P stand for? Predominantly white institution.
Exactly.
Thank you. And I was on scholarship. You won't believe this. Von, I stayed, it was a week to 10 days. I was in culture shock. I had gone to an all-black institution in high school, but then I went to this PWI, and I'm like, although I had some friends there from Central, from other schools in Louisville, I said, where are the black people?
And the PWI was?
I will not dare say.
Okay.
I'll leave that. I won't embarrass them. I'll just hold that.
Well, they couldn't
to
help
my
it.
chest.
They couldn't help it.
Right,
They were
who they were.
And that's one thing about HBCUs that
There
you
you
and I
go.
both share.
There you go.
It's the culture that we
There you
celebrate
go.
at HBCU.
So I went down the road, late enrolling to Kentucky State, and I did in fact get some scholarships there. So I was glad, and so it was meant to be.
Okay. Well,
It
see,
was meant
that's
to be.
something new I learned about you. I
Absolutely.
Didn't
You
know that. I did
didn't.
not know that. I always thought you went to Kentucky State, and that's where you wanted to go.
And you know, oddly enough, my mother and father both graduated from HBCU.
Yeah.
They went to Central State, and so actually that's where they met. So it was really truly in the bloodline.
Yes.
But I was like, okay, I got scholarships here, let me go there. And it never really crossed my mind, but I'm glad it happened the way it did.
Well, good. What was your major at Kentucky State?
My major at Kentucky State was sociology.
Okay. I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that sociology because
Yes.
she likes people and she flows very well with a lot of people and a lot of institutions.
Yes.
So what would you say was one of the most important things you learned while being at the HBCU?
I think the value of self.
Oh.
I think that happened at Central, but it continued at Kentucky State, because when you see, and you will hear this over and over again from students who attend HBCUs, when you can see people learning in the classroom that look like you, but also teaching, so they're in positions of authority, so you're feeling a sense of, hey, this feels good, this is a good place to be, and you promote and you understand a little bit more about who you are.
Yes.
As you go out into, because eventually you're going out into a world that is not predominantly black. There are other cultures, as you know, as well as other races. And with being a minority, we understand that. But it gives you a foundation, which takes you really throughout your life.
And it does give you a foundation that you need, I think, as you're growing adult. Of course, your parents.
Absolutely.
Your parents are the first people who pour into you.
For sure.
So when you go away, it's very important, I think, to have an environment with which you can thrive.
Absolutely.
And enjoy, and then learn who you are. I know my alma mater, I should not say it, but I'll say Winston-Salem State University.
Say it quickly.
Taught me not to be so shy,
Okay.
and taught me to be more outgoing and
Absolutely.
talkative.
Absolutely.
So I majored in English.
Okay.
English. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. English and then communication. So full circle.
Okay.
This opportunity here on Falcon Focus, I should say, gives me the opportunity to use all those gifts that I learned
Absolutely.
at my HBCU.
Wonderful.
So circling around to our HBCU, Simmons College of Kentucky,
Yes.
that we all know and love, what do you think is your most important, I want to say, gift that you give to Simmons College of Kentucky?
Well, I think some of what you said. I've had many experiences in terms of work settings, and but I think part of what you said in terms of presenting who we are in the most efficient and effective way possible, so that people can understand that working at HBCUs within these institutions are some gifted people.
Yes.
Be it the staff, be it the faculty, be it the higher administration, on up to our president, if I can speak in particular, that we, these are talented people.
Yes.
And they are capable people, and they are able to do and function in a world that can then teach those who attend HBCUs how to go out and function properly.
Yes,
So-
yes. Now tell me about your experiences with our students, because you do a lot of interaction with the students.
Well, you know what? I like this, and you know, we hear this in the Black culture, so it's no surprise. And a couple of the staff people said, I really keep a keen eye on them and look at them, and in any way that I can help them develop. And so, for instance, something as simple as I have an office that's a lot of traffic.
Yes, you
And
do.
when they come in, I make sure no one, this sounds so, but it's inbred in me. When you walk in a door, you say hello,
Yes.
you greet people,
Yes.
and you make them understand, you know, I'm coming into a space and I'm not coming in brazen, I'm not coming in aloof, overlooking you. And sometimes we have bad days, but I still
yeah.
bring it to the students' attention. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? It's always good to walk. When you walk in the door, you say hello.
That's a
So
good-
just some
that's
simple things that we teach them about their life skills that there's not a course basically in high school. Unfortunately, I think we got to have some on life skills. And I even tell them, I said, sometimes if you just say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, that can be the divider between, let's say we're selecting students to serve in a role.
Exactly.
And somebody says, do you have any recommendations? And I'll think of that student who said, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I
sir.
said, you won't believe that will put you a couple of steps ahead.
That is so true.
And so those are the kind of things I hope that I'm able to help them, because I'm not in the classroom with them. And of course, even still encouraging them to go to class, do your best, perform at your as best you can. So it's that caring family environment, but it's not made up. It's real.
It is real.
It's real.
It is very real. I remember when I first met Miss Claudette and I was around at the college, and I noticed she'd always call the students sweetie and that sort of thing. And I understand why, because some of these students come in from out of town.
Absolutely.
They need family, and they need to be
Absolutely.
in a nurturing environment, and that's what HBCUs provide. Before we go on to talk about Simmons is Me, I want you to also tell a little bit about your role with the student pantry, because you worked predominantly on that a lot.
I
When we
did.
were up until recently.
Absolutely, I did. And you know, the food pantry has truly been one of those blessings for our students, because how you go to class hungry, what's going to be your level of performance? So actually, Dr. Frank contacted Dare to Care to see if they would create an opportunity for our students, and they did. And so I was coordinated the receiving of food, be there from volunteers or going out and purchasing that food, and it really was a great opportunity. Julian Sam has taken that over now, and they're moving ahead. He's doing a great job. But I really am proud to have been a part of the beginning of the pantry at Simmons.
Yeah,
So-
because Miss Claudette set up a form for students to
Yes.
complete. She kept the paperwork and a database
There you
created,
go,
if you
there
will,
you
and
go.
made it more professional and efficient.
Absolutely.
And as I said earlier, she's very efficient in what she does. So she would put a blessing on that food pantry. We had a lot of the relationship with Dare to Care was started
Oh,
with some of your
yes,
initiatives and some of
absolutely.
your work.
Yes.
So we applaud you for
well,
that
thank
as well.
you again. I appreciate it.
That's good. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to really get into what Simmons is Me is and how you can become a part of that platform.
Wonderful. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
A recent article in Newsweek cited that black colleges produce 70% of all black dentists and doctors, 50% of black engineers and public school teachers, and while HBCUs only account for 3% of the nation's colleges, they account for about 20% of the degrees awarded to African Americans. Did you know that 40% of the African American members of Congress, 50% of African American lawyers, and 80% of African American judges all graduated from an HBCU? Simmons College of Kentucky is just one of America's historically black colleges and universities that can help you pursue and realize your dreams. Simmons College of Kentucky, creating the next generation of thinkers.
welcome back to this special edition of Falcon Focus. With me today is Claudette Linder, all things Simmons College of Kentucky, administrative assistant to the executive team, and she does an excellent job. But one of her most important jobs is being the director of Simmons is Me. Simmons is Me is our crowdsourcing, fundraising, grassroots campaign that helps people of all levels participate at Simmons College of Kentucky. So tell us more about that.
Absolutely, Vaughn. That's tremendous in terms of that's exactly what we do. We try to get people, regardless of your economic level, background, and to say, I can be a part of the success of Simmons College.
Yes.
And it started out about, let's say 8 years ago. The president presented this concept to us. We had a actual beginning. We did a big beginning at Central High School.
Okay.
We had several volunteers come in to say they would work with Simmons is Me and be contributors to Simmons is Me. And it really is. It's, if you want to hear it in a nutshell, you can give $5 a week, and that's, as we know, $20 a month to a great cause. So $20 a month to Simmons. And what I love about this aspect of Simmons is Me, it is money for unrestricted funds.
And tell us, unrestricted, give our audience the definition.
Yeah, with you working in development, I say, yes, we love unrestricted funds, because a lot of donors, and to their right and their privilege, restrict what they want their money to go to. So they could want scholarships, building, buy books, food pantry, all of those things, and they're all valuable and viable options. But then, you know what, I believe this, with every institution, to begin with the family, there has to be a foundation. So Simmons is Me is an excellent, tremendous opportunity to give, and we, the institution, puts it in the best place, the most needed place. So that's kind of restricted funds in a nutshell.
Right.
It
Restricted,
really gives,
but not quite
non-restricted,
so restricted.
yes. It gives the institution the option of deciding where this money is needed.
That's great. That's great. Now tell us about your history with it. What do you see as the biggest challenge of this initiative?
Well, I think a couple of things. Maybe number one, getting the word out. Obviously, there are a lot of people who would like to give who are not tech savvy. A lot of the giving, obviously, you can still send in envelopes. It's a lot of it's based on our website at the Simmons is Me is on the website, Simmons College of Kentucky website. And a lot of people just don't like tech, and they really don't like giving their money through
online.
There you go, online. So I would think that might be one of the challenges, getting the word out and getting people comfortable enough to say, I feel comfortable with technology, or let me contact the school, and you can do that, like I say, with a monthly mail-in.
Okay.
So to me, and getting the word, not just here in Louisville, not just in the state of Kentucky, but far-reaching, because I think that, in fact, will, number one, let people know more about Simmons, and then also give them an opportunity to say, hey, I like that institution. I'd like to be a part of their success.
Okay. Can you tell us how people can get involved with Simmons?
Oh, absolutely.
Because we talked about a few ways.
Yes. You can go to our website, and I always tell people, until I get to the dot, just hold up, www.simmonscollegeky.edu and /donate. But then when you get to that particular page, you will have to scroll down to Simmons is Me, because there are other forms of giving when you go to that donate page. But you can also mail in your contributions, churches, individuals, companies, it doesn't matter to us, but you're giving it on a monthly basis. Some choose to do quarterly, some do annually. So we don't stipulate, but we really thought of this as a campaign, grassroots, where someone such as myself works 9 to 5 every day, has a family, can give, and what I give makes a difference.
Is there a minimum? You talked about $20
well,
a week.
We talk about 20, but I have some people who give $10 a month just because they want to be a part of the program. So we don't say no to anything. The only thing about giving less is bank fees, those types of things. But yeah, we have a staff person who just says, well, Miss Claudette, I really can't afford to give the 20. I said, can you afford $10 a month? And so they get it deducted out of their paycheck.
Okay.
And they're part of Simmons is Me, just like anyone else.
Now tell us about the churches. Do they participate in Simmons is Me?
Some churches do. A lot of churches give through associations, but if they want to give to Simmons is Me, the thing they have to be really, we need to make sure. So let's say you send in a check, monthly, quarterly, annual, however you want to do it. You have to make sure in the memo section you put SIM, because if you don't put anything, it's just going into the general fund. It will not go into Simmons is Me. So you do have to be very careful, even when you go to the website. As I said, there are many opportunities to give, but you have to go and scroll down to the Simmons is Me option.
And I believe we're in the process of updating the website.
I think
we're going to
so.
make sure that Simmons is Me is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
And make it more donor friendly.
Absolutely.
User friendly, I should say. So when people go to give to Simmons College of Kentucky, that will be one of their options, and then we'll have it.
And then don't let me exclude. We had a donor who gave $25,000.
Yes, we did.
Did it on an annual basis, but we were ecstatic to get that donation. So it's really, you don't leave out the person who can give $10 a month, and you don't leave out the person that can give more. So it's really this concept. You may have heard of it many years ago. Not equal giving, but equal sacrifice. And that's a concept I think that fits appropriately in Simmons is Me.
Or we could say too much to whom.
Yes.
Much is given,
much is required. Absolutely. But nothing is too little and nothing is too much. So
do you have a goal for Simmons is Me annually?
Whew. Well, yes, let's say our post-COVID goal.
Yes, we have to talk
and I may be setting this a little high, but I'm just going to believe God and believe in people. I'd like to see Simmons is Me bring in $100,000 a year.
And what's the closest we've
grow.
gotten to that?
The closest I think we've gotten with that 25,000 donation was probably about 75.
Oh, that was very close.
Yeah,
that was
pretty
very
close.
So I actually believe we could do that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, that donor, if they'd like to give again, we have open arms and
full disclosure,
as well as others.
Full disclosure, as a development
Absolutely.
officer, Simmons College is a part of the platform, and we call it the low-hanging fruit, if you will.
Yes.
And we take, as Ms. Claudette has said, we take donations from the smallest to, of course, the largest corporate donors, of which all fall under my purview in the Office of Development.
And I can see us working more with, in fact, I've kind of edged that and said to get that idea out to you to do more, because I am not a development trained person. But with your help and with the help of others in the development office, we can really begin to make Simmons and Me a part of that process. Because I know you all get big money, and for many different things which are needed also.
Oh, yes.
So
now we also need to talk about how COVID has impacted Simmons is Me. I mean, people can give on the online platform.
Yes.
Have they been giving, or has there been a slowdown?
It seems that those who have been giving are giving consistently. Okay. And so, but I was reading an article the other day, Vaughn. I thought it was to try to gain more information about these types of efforts. It said, really, because of COVID, people have given more. Now, what the difference is, and remember we were talking about that restricted and unrestricted, people are being more restrictive in terms of what they're giving to.
Exactly.
So they would probably pick the food pantry, which of course is going to get food in the mouths of the students versus just a program over here that's just unrestricted in nature, because they're thinking, I mean, like I said, scholarships, none, and what I want to really stress here, it's not an either or, it's a both and.
Oh, yes,
because when you work together in all those efforts, it is to the success of the students. But if we can't fund our faculty positions and we can't fund, people don't like to hear this because it's not that, what is it, that term they use in development?
It's not that sexy.
There you go. There you go.
Sexy.
When you start talking about the lights and the gas, well, if you don't have lights and gas, you really can't open the building for the teaching to take forth.
So when I talk to donors, of course, they want to directly impact students.
There you go.
They want to directly impact students. They want to know that their dollars are going to the students. So what's really popular with donors is, of course, scholarships.
Yes.
Food pantry.
I know you know that.
And then, I mean, people like big big
Yes.
initiatives. They like big initiatives like funding our teacher education
There you
program.
go. There you go.
But hopefully we will get more traction on funding even bigger projects.
Yeah.
We need infrastructure upgrades,
There you
those
go.
sorts
There
of
you
things.
go.
You usually can get people to go into something where they can see it.
Absolutely.
But what we have to do a better job is of showing people that, like you say,
Yes.
we don't have the basics covered.
There you go.
We can't do all the great work that we do.
And I read speaking of another article that I read, I can't remember her name, but you all will know her because maybe the richest woman in America. She gave some money to an HBCU. But what I loved about the article.
That was Miss Bezos.
Thank you. What I loved about the article, she gave the money to the institution, unrestricted funds.
Oh, so she
because
understands.
she said, I trust the institution to put it where it's needed the most.
Exactly.
That is, I mean, when I read that, I said,
There
and she
you go.
gave big money.
She gave to about 30 HBCUs.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
and
did.
she gave unrestricted gifts of
Yes.
$5 to $20 million each.
There might have been a 40 million in there.
She gave
Yes.
some big money.
And so unrestricted.
So if you're watching Miss Bezos,
Thank you.
think about Simmons College of Kentucky.
Oh, absolutely.
One thing that donors forget about, or nationwide, they
Okay.
think about the big HBCUs.
Okay.
But I will say now, using this platform, that the smaller HBCUs need funding as well,
Absolutely.
because the larger ones are going to manage and
I got you.
they have larger
And then even the
enrollments.
difference between a private and a public.
Exactly.
Because as a private institution,
Right.
we don't get state funds, so that impacts
But
too.
we will get state funds soon because of SB 270
Well,
that
yes,
just
the
passed.
SB
Yes.
270 is a great blessing. So,
But one thing that we have to stress with this Simmons is Me is
Yes.
that all people can give from
There you go.
various levels.
There you go.
And that's what we want to see happen.
Absolutely.
So before we let you go, what I want to do is ask about your vision for Simmons College for Simmons is Me
Yes.
for the next 3 years.
Okay. Well, and as I say, as we recoup from COVID-19, I really hope more opportunities such as this, my getting out to talk to more groups about the importance
Exactly.
of that individual giving. And it really, and in fact, here you go, of all, and you know this better than I do, of all the giving in the U.S., I'm not talking about necessarily just to colleges, 81% comes from individuals. The other percentage, what is the difference there? About 14, I can't add
grants
today.
and foundations.
Yes, foundation and corporations.
Exactly.
But 81% comes from individuals.
Which means individuals care
Yes.
and they want to support institutions by which they
Absolutely.
believe.
Absolutely.
And our mission, as you know, is educating students
There you go.
from the urban context who need
Yes.
an opportunity through education. And I think HBCUs, Simmons College of Kentucky,
Yes.
being one of them, of 101 HBCUs, are doing a great job.
Absolutely.
And I think people who work at HBCUs like yourself are doing a tremendous job with smaller staffs.
Yes. Yes.
Smaller staffs, particularly working from home now with COVID.
Yes.
Hopefully that will change in fall of 2021 and we'll be able to do better. But before we leave, give our donors the 3 or 4 ways by which they can give to Simmons is Me.
All righty, you can mail it straight into the institution. My office is at the 4th Street location, so 1000 South 4th Street. Make sure, though, on that check you put SIM.
Otherwise,
because
we will
otherwise, somebody else is going to get credit. So if you want Simmons is Me to get credit for it, you do need to make sure that's noted. You can go to our website,
Yep.
www.simmonscollegeky.edu/donate. Scroll down to Simmons is Me. Make that donation. If you need any help, please call us, 502-776-1443. I'm at extension 5125. Be more than glad to help you. In fact, I've even had people come in, Vaughn.
Exactly.
They didn't feel comfortable with technology. I sit at my desk. I enter them in the system at our website. They were totally and completely satisfied. So we will
yes.
even do that.
We
if
have
you
great
need that.
customer service, as you can see through Miss Claudette Linder. Well, Miss Claudette Linder, thank you so much for
Vaughn,
being
thank
a
you for
guest.
this opportunity.
I am so happy you came to be with me on the show today.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
and enjoy this week's edition of Falcon Focus. Thank you.